Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today, 1500 points, Path to Glory. We have Space Marine White Scars and Adeptus Mechanicus versus the Dark Eldar, Eldar and Harlequins of Skari. This mission is about table quarter control, and right now we're doing scout moves, but it's going to be an absolute bloodbath on this beautiful fat mat by Frontline Gaming. Let's begin. So we started with the Salamanders dropping down turn 1. I deployed a unit of jet bikes back here, and my Wraith Knight, and a unit of Dire Avengers back here. So he dropped down Electro Priests and Khan here, murdered all the jet bikes, killing them, and then these grab thingies, destroyers, put 2 wounds on the Wraith Knight thanks to having a shield and the Feel No Pain. So he is alive, but First Blood does go to the White Scars. We're moving on to turn 1, Dark Eldar, and we have quite a few reserves to come in. So I need the Wraith Knight to survive a turn and go and murder some stuff. Okay, let's get this party on the road. Turn 2 for the White Scars. So turn 2, 2 more wounds on the Wraith Knight. In my turn 1, I charged in with the Wraith Knight and the Warp Spiders. I killed almost all the Electro Priests and put Khan down to 1 wound. The Electro Priests hit and run out, then they charged back into my Warp Spiders and killed them. Khan is left alive, but I did kill the Electro Priests, and my Wraith Knight took 2 more wounds. I have Conqueror of Cities, so that helped being behind here against the Grav heavy cannons. In turn 2, I have reserves coming on, so I have my War Walkers outflanking on any flank I want, and my Harlequins with everything, all the bells and whistles, deep striking in with a Webway Portal, and my Trueborn coming in too. So we have turn 2 for the Dark Eldar. I did get 1 point for controlling this table quarter, and Jason has 2 primary points for controlling the 2 table quarters that he had over there. And now we're looking at a kill point differential. He's got 3 kill points right now. He's got 1 kill point from the Wraith Knight, and then the jet bikes and the Wolf Spiders, and I have 1 kill point, which is from the Electro Priest. So moving on to the next turn. Dark Eldar, Eldar, and Harlequins. Turn 2 saw the Wraith Knight move up, and then the War Walkers come in here, and then this Raider full of Cavalite Warriors come in there. And then the Harlequins deep strike here. So in shooting, I was able to kill the Rhino with the War Walkers. The leadership debuffs caused this unit to be pinned. Then the Harlequins fired at the Grav Centurion thingies, the destroyers, and then thanks to the Death Jester, I made them fall back towards the Wraith Knight that was here to charge them. Wraith Knight took a wound in Overwatch, but murdered all of the, giving me a Big Game Hunter, which is killing his most expensive unit. And then the Warriors and Raider here finished off Khan, who was over here. That means that I was able to deny him this table quarter. The Dire Avengers back here moved that way and denied him that far table quarter. So he only got 1 primary point for back here. It's going to set me up to get some table quarters later in the game. And now we're moving on to turn 3. The Assassin has come in with a pod. And let's see what we can do after this. Turn 3 for the Space Marines. So the drop pod with the Assassin came down. Assassin fired 4 times, killed 2 Dire Avengers. They did go to ground, and then this unit here fired into them, killed no one. The Speeder with the boosted up here, but has left the Scouts back here capturing this table quarter, and then he wasn't able to do anything on that side. So the Dark Eldar will take 1 point in primary at the start of the turn, and now we're rolling for the Dark Eldar reserves that are left, which is a unit of Cavalite Trueborn in a Raider. They arrive, and a unit of Cavalite Warriors in a Venom. They still do not arrive, even with the Autarchs +1. Okay, moving on to the next turn. Turn 3 for the Dark Eldar and Eldar. The Trueborn deep struck here with their blasters. It immobilized itself, they got out, and both the Raider and the blasters killed this Storm Talon, shooting from the War Walkers in the backfield, wrecked this Rhino, and they have gotten out the Grabs and Grab Devastators. The casted players moved up, failed to cast any powers yet again for a second turn running, and they have run with Crusader, helping contest this table quarter. And then over here, the death of the the objective secured unit meant that now my Dire Avengers that are left alive are contesting this table quarter, and over here we have 2 obsec units versus 3 non-obsec units, so I've contested this table quarter. I did put 1 wound on the Eversur Assassin, and in combat, the Archon and the Wraith Knight made short work of the combat squad. We're moving on to turn 4. Could be the wrapping up as the game continues here. Space Marine, turn 4. The Assassin murdered the Dire Avengers. This Rhino is hiding. Disembark these guys here with the Mensa guy. And then Grav Cannon sent the Scouts and this unit only put 1 hull point on the immobilized Raider and killed 4 out of the 5 Trueborn. They went to ground, but they're still alive with 1 wound remaining, which means a lot of shooting, and I got really lucky here. Other than that, now we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 4. So I have this table quarter over here, I have this table quarter over here, and this table quarter is contested, and this one I can't even try and challenge. So I have a Venom with 2 guys to come in on turn 4. Let's see what I can do. Turn 4, Dark Eldar. Warwalkers killed a drop pod. Wraith Knight is just staying back. He killed another drop pod for a kill point. I had the Raider, this unit of Cabalite Warriors, the recently arrived Venom and Warriors fire into the Assassin and finally kill him with the last 3 wounds. That contests this table quarter for me. These guys here shot him, put 1 wound on the Librarian with the Disintegrator Cannon, and a lot of shooting in Psychic Shriek. Killed all but 1 Scout, and the Death Jester even caused a leadership test to try and pull him back to charge him, but he passed his morale at -2, so he's holding there firm. So we're moving on to turn 5. Right now, primary points. The Space Marines didn't get any. It's 3 points for the Space Marines, 4 points for the Dark Eldar. But if this game continues, anything can happen. So let's move on to the turn. Turn 5 for the Space Marines. So we had this unit kind of splits up. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in this table quarter, which means that he's really holding tight onto this table quarter if the game continues. He was able to kill this Venom, put a casualty on this unit of Cavalite Warriors with drop pod fire, then finally killed the Raider, charging in with his Librarian, beating it in combat, and then shooting the Scouts and the Rhino and all of these guys into the last Trueborn to kill the last Fearless Trueborn. So we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 5. Could be the end of the game, and we still have some game to continue. Okay. Turn 5 for the Dark Eldar. So, what did I do? Move the Wraith Knight a little bit closer to create some damage, kill the Librarian with the Warwalkers, and then failed to do any damage with the Harlequins over here, or with Shriek on that lone Scout. And then these Cavalite Warriors have charged out, tried to charge and wreck that Rhino, but that was unsuccessful. And then these guys have just kind of moved around. So, end of turn 5. Right now, 6 points to the Dark Eldar. 3 points to the Space Marines in terms of primary. Secondary objectives, we have 11 kill points No, I've done 11 kill points now to his 9 kill points, I believe. So I'm winning kill points by like 3 or 4 points. We just have to recount that. And other than that, could be the end of the game. So, what do the dice gods say? The game continues onto a very nail-biting turn 6. Okay, so in the battlefield, shooting, we had some maneuvering here. This unit rapid-fired Grav, feel no pain, saved the last Cavalite Warrior, so he is still alive. Other shooting from the Techno Priest guy, the Rhino, this whole devastated unit, the Scouts killed the Death Jester, and then the drop pod over there killed 1 more model. But some good invulnerable saves and armor saves with lookout sir rolls really helped that unit out. Now moving on to Dark Eldar turn 6. I get 2 more points for these 2 quarters, so primary is pretty much set in stone for me. And now let's see about kill points. Turn 6 for the Dark Eldar. So shooting saw 2 hull points on that Rhino. It's got 1 left. No damage to that unit. No damage to him. Psychic Shriek killed 2 Space Marines, and then they fell back, which meant that then I was able to combi charge Scouts and the Devastators, wiping both of the units out, and they've consolidated back into the ruins. So, might go on to turn 7. Seems like it's all over, but the fat lady singing. Let's see what the dice gods decide. They decide that it is over. Jason, fantastic game, sir. Any comments? Because this was quite a tight game for the first couple of turns.
Yeah, not killing the Wraith Knight early on kind of hurt. He made some big saves and Feel No Pain rolls. I had one turn in this area here where I couldn't kill that Raider and that last Cabalite Trueborn. And I threw like everything at them, and I still couldn't do that. Hurt too, because then I still had to devote more firepower the next turn to try and get rid of them. But other than that, I don't think I could have done too much more differently. You played it really well. It kept keeping your Wraith Knight out of my grab range after the first 2 turns, and yeah, it was just a really good game. Lots of strategy in it.
Yeah, it was definitely a very strategic game. So stay tuned for the Tactical Corner, where I break down the tactics and thought that went into the game. Thanks a lot for watching. Check the links down below for battle reports, tactical videos, and the blog and the Patreon page to support the channel. Thanks a lot, Jason. Have a great day, everyone. This is Skari, out. Hello and welcome to another Tactical Corner. Today we're seeing 1500 points of the Eldar, Dark Eldar and Harlequins army versus 1500 points of Jason's Space Marines with Mechanicum and Assassin allies. The armies that we're playing are being designed for a series of tournaments called the Path to Glory, which is a 4 different event series. The links for the lists will be down below, as well as all the rules for the event. That will be an ITC format event. So each of the missions is very particular. They're kind of homegrown, and they're designed behind some of the ITC ideas, Nova, and some of the major events. So the missions vary from mission to mission, which is quite interesting. Now in this mission, I knew that I was going to have to null deploy. I wanted to null deploy the White Scars army. So I deployed a couple of sneaky units like the Eldar jet bikes and the warp spiders, knowing that it was going to be something I could use to jump in and out of cover. And I also put down the Wraith Knight simply because Jason did not put his Librarian in with the destroyers that had Grav. The Librarian has the Hunter's Eye and allows the unit to ignore cover, and him not putting them in the drop pod meant that with the Devastators I was able to deploy my Wraith Knight out of range, knowing that I was not going to be shot by ignore cover. Now, of course, it didn't really matter in the end. I ended up being in the open and using my shield against the big grav guns, but on the second turn it did come into play when the Wraith Knight jumped in behind the ruin that was in my main deployment zone. Now Jason played well. He dropped down aggressively to get first blood and kill my fast objective secured Eldar jet bikes. This was a very smart move on his part, and forced me to have to deal with Khan and the Electrobeasts early in the game. Now Khan ended up, getting badly wounded, and because he had been isolated, it was very easy for me to get Warlord. At the same time, he isolated a few units on that far flank, the destroyers, 1 tactical unit, and then a couple of drop pods. When my reserves came on, I was able to use the Harlequins and the Warwalkers to anchor that flank and really start putting a lot of pressure on that part of his army, while keeping the back end of his army, like the Assassin and the Scouts, busy with a couple of throwaway units like my Trueborn, a Raider, and especially the Dire Avengers that just kind of sat in this building and were preventing Jason from really gaining a lot of points for the primary mission. Now, the mission called for table quarters. Each objective secured unit counted as 2 units, but you gained a point for having more units in each quarter than your opponent every single player turn. And this was very important, as at the start of the game, Jason really started raking up those points. But playing smart and being able to play to deny my opponent's mission objectives allowed me to stem his primary objective mission placement, and then use the Harlequins later in the game to really then dig into the backfield and start eating in towards the rest of his army. Jason's other flank was very, very strong, and that's where my Trueborn came in to do some work in terms of distraction. And the turn 4 was really a pivotal turn for the game itself, when most of the army of his army that he had left turned around and tried to kill the Trueborn and the Raider, and failed to destroy either of the 2 units with quite a lot of shooting. This then was followed up with me being able to dispatch of the assassin so that he wasn't able to go and kill more things in my backfield, and then force Jason to deal with the Trueborn and the Raider again with his army yet another turn. This proved to be precisely what I needed, and I feel that there weren't really many mistakes made this game on behalf of the Dark Eldar army. I played the strengths of my army. I was able to isolate and destroy pockets of isolated resistance from the enemy, and spread him thin. Now, Jason's biggest mistake was probably putting his Devastators in the middle of the table. Now, he'd done this to try and mitigate my Wraith Knight from coming directly into the middle, but it also meant that I was able to really not have to worry with their firepower, their considerable firepower, until later in the game, when they were shooting things like Harlequins that don't have any armor whatsoever. All in all, it was a really fun game, a good win for the Dark Eldar, and I highly recommend you check out the links below for Tactica's videos and the Patreon page to support the content. Thanks a lot. This is Skari, your grateful host. Leave a comment down below and like this video. Skari out.